Where'd my minutes go? Did you,
Uh-oh.
for today, the agenda?
I got
I
one.
have notes on.
I don't have anything here, Mike.
Oh, you? That's what I get for talking to you, Lyle.
I get that a lot, Mike.
Okay, I think it's close enough to 9 o'clock that we will call the meeting to order. And, the first item that I wanna do is, we'll start with JD and, just a brief introduction, so anyone that doesn't know who we are will.
JD Neidlinger, Drainage Board member.
Greg Lichty, Drainage Board member.
Bill Wimhoff, Drainage Board member.
Jackie Searles.
Deputy. Doug Bowman, Commissioner.
Steve Bailey, Commissioner.
Mike Whirling and County Surveyor.
Okay, with that being said, the first item that, we'll do is take a look at our minutes. And, those are in front of you from 2/18/25. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as, we have in front of us?
I so move we accept the minutes.
Second.
Been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Mike, we'll move on to the Mosher watershed.
The first agenda is the Amstutz Watershed, Big Bear subdivision. I see we have the engineer and the owner here for, that development. You guys approved in the minutes. Let's go back to that. That you'd like some kind of detention backup, the outlet to put a control structure to meter the amount of water that will go in and use a swale and ditch as a detention backup. So it was tabled for the month to look at that. So I think I'll probably turn it over to Bob Gaffer, the engineer on this, or both. Our mic's on, so and we are recording here, guys. We're recording this.
Good morning, I'm Bob Gaffer, engineer of record for this project. I'm with MLS Engineering in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We talked last month about putting in that secondary structure, it's a manhole for to detain what we could on there. So I maximized that ditch along the east side. That's 150 storage in there, and then
Sure.
whatever 100-year level that went to, I put a bypass structure so it would flow in the top, and any of the offsite coming from the west would go in through the top of the structure and out. So
Forgive me for having this laying sideways. North is to the left of the screen. I'm not exactly sure how I changed that one.
well, I printed it that way, so I'm just.
Yeah, that's the way it's printed out.
It's those dumb engineers for sure.
So,
That's why they're surveyors.
yeah.
Thanks.
Bob, did you have any calculations then on what kind of, how that would help the?
I did, and off the top of my head, I don't remember let me see what that's the proposed conditions. Let me see what I put on existing conditions. So if I'm looking at the right one, the existing conditions, and I'll just give 100-year rates, was for on-site, just our shed was 77 CFS on the 100-year. And then if you look at ours, let's make sure this isn't the. And then come through, I think I put a 26-inch orifice on it. We get down to, I wanna say, is it what's on the? Yeah, it's had this year or two, that might be the last drainage report I sent you, Mike, I don't know. Went down to. I wanna say, this says 60, but I don't know, actually, that's like 39 CFS for just the on-site. But then if you bypass others, it ends up being the same before as after when you consider the off-site too. So ours, we're retaining on-site, our developed area, and then once you get the off-site, it'll be the same as, or just a 66, so 77 down to 66 CFS.
If the guys are gonna see this,
I believe.
the plans. I don't have that.
They did increase the.
You've got a structure here, that comes down, and then the swale down here, the swale here.
So what they're looking at there is the plans. I don't have them for the
Structure there,
screen.
and this is where they're outletting it to.
Mhm.
You're gonna have a 26-inch reduction there. Right there it is, 26-inch going into 30. Something over there, I can't.
What is it currently?
You missed the variance on the first one.
Right over here, I can't see it from where I'm at.
That's okay, just so it goes through.
I was ready to go.
Underneath the
We'll
road.
get it.
Yeah,
No, that's
Just
fine.
asking, how big is the structure going underneath? The structure that's there now, how big is that going
Pipe
underneath
is
the
a
road?
30-inch.
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 That's only a 30.
Yeah, 30-inch CMP.
okay, so what's it gonna be changed to?
20,
We're just connecting into that 30-inch.
30-inch, we
Was
got a
the
26-inch.
couch that I did.
Okay.
But I would put a 26-inch orifice
Orifice there.
upstream of it, which so all we're putting into it until we get up to the top level of our ditch would be just what can go that, through a
Right.
26-inch hole.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the top of our ditch, just before the top of the ditch is the top of the structure, which is open, so it'll go in the structure and out that 30-inch pipe, and then the 30-inch will be the most restrictive.
Should help, shouldn't it?
I reviewed his calculations for Mike, and I agree with what Bob's telling us here. It's gonna help the situation here.
So,
I'm in favor of it.
and what you're seeing here is with the red pencil is about the limits of where that water will be held. I guess if Bob wants to look at, that's what we talked,
I put it in the table, yeah.
that's what we talked about.
The top of the bank, where's my table on my.
And
Okay. Existing.
Do we have any more questions for Bob? Or Mike, do you have anything you wanna bring up here?
One thing, this is not pertinent to this discussion, but to the whole plan. We have thought about the new addition to the north, which we're not dealing with now, but that water is proposed to come across this subdivision after a stormwater retention up there. I have as an idea, Bob and I talked to Bob about possibly changing the watershed and running that water through, let me get back to where I wanna be. Not in. So to changing well, I gotta quit talking on the computer, to change the watershed of the entire area up to the north, run it into an open drain, the Dines open drain directly south across property of others. And then that Dines ditch goes right into the Wabash River. The open drain goes into the Wabash River. The area to the north, the next subdivision is actually into watersheds right now. About half of it going to the Amstutz Long, half of it to the Dines.
Now, on the north, possibly the north part you're talking about, is there currently a culvert that's under the road on 700?
Yes. There it is further down. I think it's just west of that. Is that a substation or electrical plant? right
It's,
there? Northeast. It's
electrical,
just-
isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
It's just west of that a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Before it comes down and Mike, I did discuss with, Brett in my office, and I don't know if Zane wants to weigh in it. Just talking with the, burn and looking at the Dines, that was addressed in initial, and I don't know what the possibility of getting easements and being able to cross other properties would be on that type of, I know it's been talked about.
Yeah.
And it was looked at as it might be more difficult to get those easements, so I'm not gonna guarantee any of that. If Zane wants to speak more onto it, we did ask about it, I know. I did not get a very positive feedback when I asked my boss about it. Bradley said, yes, they've talked about it and it didn't.
So I know this is a busy map here and it's got the contour lines on it. This is the subdivision we're dealing with right now. The substation is in the corner here.
Mhm.
This area up to the north here is their future proposed. And you see that green line, that is the watershed line as we have it existing today. That might change by topographic map, when they get to that. They're talking about a stormwater detention in this corner here, which would flow back through the subdivision we're discussing and out the Amstutz Lawn. So he'd be taking part of that watershed that is not in the watershed, the Dines watershed, and flowing it into the Amstutz Long, increasing the load on the Amstutz Long. By going, here's the end of the Dines system, that open drain, and it goes directly into the Wabash River. Here's the end of it right there.
Mm.
Right now. My discussion was for them to get a possibility of coming straight south and draining this entire area through the Dines.
Tile or open ditch?
That's to be decided. I mean, farmer would surely love a tile.
He's not gonna give you an easement for an open ditch.
No.
No.
He's not gonna give me anything.
No, he
At all.
So,
The city of Bern has approached the landowner here with the field there, with the Dines open there.
Right.
And has requested easement for drainage use of the subdivision as far up north as Carrington Way there.
okay, so
And
that's up here.
they want some relief of drainage of what's already been developed and within city limits. The owners of that field are not open to granting easements across their field,
Not even for a tile?
not even for a tile.
Ooh,
Is there,
You can discuss with Shannon Smitley in more detail. He actually had the easement drawn up and they refused to sign.
So this is an interesting discussion because I just talked to a guy the other night that had interest in this woods. Oh, sorry, the woods here to the east of the Carrington, and this is whatever the street is there. So he said all this water coming off of that street is running into that woods, and that then it goes where it wants to. And that they're making a wet spot in the woods there, so that's.
that woods is actually to the west, Mike.
Right to the west, yeah. So that's just a coincidence that I had a comment on that already, that I should look at that woods because of the drainage, the poor drainage in it. So,
Well, we don't need to deal with that today.
Yeah.
But let's move on and deal with the business at hand.
can I ask a quick question? So if they want to split this, they want to run all this watershed, both the Amstutz Long and the Dines in through the Amstutz Long, what direction can the drainage board give them on, changing watersheds? I mean, what authority or what action do we have available to us? That's a attorney question. Something to think about in the future. If they desire to run extra water through that, it seems like that is a question for you guys.
My suggestion on that, or my response to that would be, if I may,
Go ahead.
find out what it is and just the Amstutz, the drainage existing in just the Amstutz, and set your allowable release rates. If I want to drain 2/3 of western half of Indiana through that, but I'm still struck with what's in that
Yeah.
watershed
You're just gonna
today.
have the larger detention than
I
what you
would
normally
over
would.
detain into that
Right.
detention.
I think that's all handled with detention at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, I mean, I've done that several times in many different counties across, so it's just set your restrictions by what's there now. If I bring more land into it, I can't up my allowable release rate. My allowable release rate is based on what's there now. And then I would decrease the proposed or developed release rate through a larger detention to the smaller area from the existing side.
Okay, before we move farther, I agree with Steve, we need to probably address what we're about today without thinking, it's always good to think about the future here too. But, first of all, I'd like to ask the drainage board if there's any more questions for either the engineer or Mike or Shane, and also, Mr. Moser's here. I want to let him address if he has any concerns too, since he's here today. So first of all, drainage board, do you have more questions for Mike or our engineer?
Dealing with the stormwater detention, that basically all I can do is put input. I can't vote on this because I reviewed the stuff for surveyor's office.
Okay.
Yeah. He was
Dwayne?
acting as a deputy for me.
Yeah.
For the surveyor's office.
Dwayne, I know Yamsas Long is very much of a concern. Do you have any questions or concerns about what's going on here this morning?
How is the pumping station gonna handle more water?
Yeah. We brought that up last week, or the last drainage board meeting. Fill us in a little bit. I know you're kind of, are you responsible for the pumps?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but you've got a lot of insight. Update us a little bit on the current pumps on the Levy Road.
Okay, big pump supposedly has been reconditioned. One of the medium pumps is in the process of being reconditioned. The other one is supposedly okay, the trash pump is junk. And, if you get a big rain, there's no point in pumping. It's not gonna, those pumps aren't gonna be big enough to handle it. I know some of the people in the association think it is. It didn't work in 1993, it didn't work in 2003. I thought it would happen in 13. It didn't. I think it happened. I'm thinking around 15 again. So we're about due for another.
That's your work.
And if that levee ever breaks, look out. Because Jerry Jones says if that levee breaks, it's gonna come across, it's gonna come across 218 at 000, and then it's gonna go down to St. Mary's.
I agree.
And
We
it
discussed
started to
that.
come, not for sure what year, but it started to come across 1 year, and it comes across to my place first. And if that breaks, look out.
Well, you'll recall, Dwayne, when it started coming across, we actually had the highway department putting more stone on the levee.
Well, they've done it 3 times. They did it in 93, they had a barrier on the road about this high.
So, okay. So I heard Dwayne say on a heavy rain, it don't even do any good to run the pumps. Is that correct?
If you get a big heavy rain, a 7-inch rain, those pumps can't handle it.
Okay, what we've done here is, last drainage board meeting, we were concerned about the extra water that's going to eventually end up down at the pump area. And that's why we had the engineer recalculate the amount of water that's gonna go across 150, okay? On his division. So with that being said, board, I guess we're ready to make a decision or do something here. Is it Mike?
I believe so. The changes in the plan is number one, where he's restricting the water at the head of the Amseth Long number 3, at 150 West. Isn't that our question today? And the rest of this is all future.
Right.
There would be a way to solve this, to get the town involved in it. If you put water down the route to the pumps, they should be charged for it. That's the way it should have been years and years ago. The general public that doesn't understand it, they don't like that. They say, well, my water goes, and they don't understand about water. But that's one way to address it. I think I'm okay with this, with what you did for now. But then when we come back, in 5-10 years, you're gonna have to make some hard decisions. And I think the town should be aware that they may be taxed. That will help them think ahead to not do things that will cost more money than what's worth.
As Dwayne said though, Greg, on a heavy rain, it don't make any difference if all the pumps are working or not.
Well,
But I agree with the association business.
what's that?
Sooner or later, you do turn them on.
We've shut them down already.
Yeah, well, right, but the
When
point
it
is, you still have to get rid of the
there's
water.
no value anymore, there's no point in pumping.
No argument.
I have one question about the levee. Has the levee, have you had any engineering boards on the levee to see if the levee is still structurally sound? Or anything since it was put in when Walt Gillum designed it?
No.
No.
I can speak to that because we have the plans upstairs from when it was built.
Yeah.
And then it seems like Walt did work in the 60s, late 60s maybe, we have the plans that they put pilings down in the levee to hold it, so there was one
South County
strengthening
landfill,
since it was
right
built,
on the other side of that.
is what I would say, but since then, I don't know of
But
any.
it's,
Okay.
I think, I don't think.
But that's the main concern with all the saturation of water hitting up against that. And I don't know if they met the compaction tests, modified or whatever to make sure that it was put in lifts. I don't know how they built that levee.
We don't wanna. Mike, always keep your eye on that levee. Like Dwayne said, if that, on a heavy rain, if that levee ever gave out,
It's a mess.
it would not only wash water, but you gotta remember where the old South landfill is.
Yeah.
So for your information, we dipped the Anstutz Long from the levee north, way up north to the New and Schwander tile coming in there. And my intention is to dip it south this year, or at least get it started across beside the old landfill and then down into the river. The other part, south of 850 south, because there is a pool of water setting there that I think we can drain at the outlet of this levee.
Okay, just to keep this moving along, Mike, we'd like to, for Zane's purpose and the engineer's purpose, they need direction on what they wanna do today. We need to give them some direction, so board, are we going to approve what you heard today, or are we gonna table it, or are we gonna
We
move
can-
on?
I think we can make a motion. I think we should move to accept what he's put on today. With restriction that you put with it, we can approve that.
So we're gonna accept, okay, we're gonna accept the new plans that
As designed.
okay,
There you go, that's. the word I
as
was-
designed
And
And
submitted
presented, yeah.
and
to
submitted.
the Adams County Drainage Board as of this date. And I did not make this motion, I'm just here.
Okay, well, Greg made the
I asked for
motion.
help.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Steve seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's carried.
Put down I sustained.
Yeah, I will. Bill's.
Which, is there a brief description of what those plans are to do?
Yeah,
Okay, as long as you have that.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
the
here
pla-
and the
The
plans.
plans speak for themselves,
Yeah.
but maybe in the minutes,
Mhm.
you summarize,
Refer to the drainage report and the prepared plans.
They're here.
yeah,
Yeah.
what specifically sort of work are they proposing? to
Let me
do?
get that
Are
down
the
here.
plans proposing?
Sure, button time.
Like,
They're proposing to put in a catch basin down by County Road 150. It drains into a 30-inch tile underneath the road right now, and they're gonna put a reducer down to a 27-inch on the other side. And it's only gonna it's gonna hold back any development rate. Let the development rate go through.
But I think, just a brief description in the minutes that the plans are for, a reduced development rate, a new structure.
He's putting this structure right
Well,
there.
that was in the minutes before, Mark.
Was it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, if that's already in the minutes and
And
we've
they
got
have
it.
already met the
Okay.
requirements that we put on them from last
All
month.
right.
We're moving on, Mark. You
Yeah.
can catch up later.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike,
That's fine.
next item.
Could we go back? There was a Mosher watershed put on the agenda
Yeah.
before this.
Right.
So the Craigville telephone, right? Is that the right?
Yes, Craig, they'll tell.
Yeah, well, I got it right here. Yeah, is asking for a variance to, there's Mosher 3 legal tile. I'm gonna give you
They're
that.
gonna bore under 5 feet.
Yeah, bore 5 feet under the legal tile known as Mosher number 3 for fiber optic line. And the petition or the request for variance is prepared, ready for you guys to approve and sign if you want to.
You need a motion, or is there any discussion on what Mike's talking about on the Mosher watershed with the variance? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Bill made the motion. JD second, all in favor? Dan? Aye.
Carried.
Motion carried. Okay, Mike, moving on to the grant staff.
Okay, the Grand Staff Whole House Watershed, the Northfield at Cross Creek. We've discussed this they have, the engineer has changed the watersheds there also to run through the whole house. I can get to that in a minute if you want. The question is, because the maps were, the watershed lines are splitting that subdivision.
Let's you bring that up.
Yeah,
Mark.
okay, then I gotta, sorry, I gotta quit
Yeah,
talking so
That's okay.
I can do that.
I'm not sure. Doug, I think you're still maybe playing catch up on this. This is conversations taking place over several meetings.
Okay,
So let's show you a picture
Mhm.
and refresh my memory.
Okay, now here we are, crooked again. This one I can fix. This is, I have better plans here to look at if you guys want. But basically, what they're, the line running through here would kind of be the watershed. Everything to the east and the south would typically go into the Old House watershed. Everything to the north would go into this Bogner tile into the Grandstaff watershed, goes north through, across Pre-Stress. They have redesigned this all, and I don't have that I can show you. I didn't scan this, but here is the watershed as they've changed it. And they're running more through, except this little bit to the north up here. That's still gonna go into the Grandstaff, is gonna go down into the Old House system through that series of ponds and the ponds on the golf course. The question is, how do we assess for the lots for their drainage watersheds, right? Because we're changing,
We have it.
we have a petition.
Yeah, that Mark had
Okay.
done a number of years.
We
That
have
was
a-
on the board then.
We have a petition that has been done in the past to, let me read it, acknowledge that granting this request, the drainage board, that the owners will continue to be responsible for 50% assessment in the former watershed where the land is located, and 100% assessment for each acre connected to the new outlet. Okay, so this was set up for farm ground where they were not changing the topography. So the overland flow was still going into the previous watershed, the existing watershed, and the tile lines were going into a different watershed. I believe this subdivision is different than that because the topography is being changed, so there will be no overland flow going into the old watershed. Everything will be going into the new watershed at that line. So it's really a question for Mark, I guess, to advise. What I would suggest, what I would like to see is that we let the engineer tell us which majority of the lot, which watershed they're in, and assess them for a total amount for one watershed or the other, instead of doing double. Am I capable of doing that? The subdivision is changing the landscape.
Question is, Mike, will our program handle
Well,
it? That's another issue we gotta look at.
I understand, yeah, there's a lot of questions with that. But farm ground, yes, there was still overland flow going to the original system and the tile flow to another one. We have a lot of tiles drained into the wrong watershed in Adams County, I know that. Because it's easy to do when you tile. This subdivision is what we're looking at right now. They took the plan,
So Mike, you believe that the reason for that double assessment is not applicable in this circumstance?
that's what I'm proposing, yeah. I think they're taking
Logic doesn't hold.
They're taking 5.6 acres out of the Bogner and putting it into the Old House. And the lots the grading is gonna be such that there will be no overland flow both ways.
So and the streets, if I remember right, the streets are being shed towards the new watershed. In other words, when water gets to the street, they're forcing it the other way.
Except for a little bit in the northwest corner.
Except for what they
It's
can't.
going into that detention pond up there. Yes, that's our discussion. How do we handle this situation? And I think Mark's probably.
Yeah, and there's I know we looked at the code on this, and I have to bring it back up. I've been having problems getting internet here the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. Can't bring it.
Here, these.
Change the variances on, but for some reason.
Existing is here, and the new one is gonna be just right here.
Yeah, it is, cause.
That's gonna go into the Wagner tile to the grandstaff. All these others from here and here are all gonna go down.
Presently, they're going this way
Yeah, everything, this green line is going up there right now.
right now.
Yeah.
And then all of it's gonna come this way.
Yeah, it's all gonna come down through, that pond to this pond, to
You can keep
the
it.
2 ponds on the golf course,
Here.
and then out. Basically go like this. Go into that one, from the new one right here, we're looking at that one, this pond, to this old tile, to the, over to the tile to the river. The whole house, through the whole house.
So have the plans to construct the subdivision this way been approved or not yet?
The city has approved them. It's in the city. It was already it was annexed to the city, and they have approved that last, Tuesday night.
So
That's Tuesday afternoon, because I went to the meeting in the evening, and they had already dealt with it in the plan commission in the afternoon.
So it's just up to the drainage board to sign off on the drainage outlet of the subdivision,
Yeah.
the change in the flow?
Yes.
It wouldn't affect the assessment charge from one system to another, would it, to the property owners?
They will, yeah.
It would.
The present assessment will be incorrect in the watershed.
So
And I
it
think
would
it's a matter
change.
of how does that get changed? Is that something that the
Well,
board
It's a
on its
manual.
own motion does?
That's,
Well, if they okay it, it's a manual. It goes on and then it just carries over. I did it for, remember when we did Buchanan's? It was years ago when I first started. Yeah,
But it wouldn't be a significant assessment charge.
it's like a $20 assessment for, they have the minimum amount.
there's your petition.
But it has, didn't we okay the drainage?
We did.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did that
we
already.
approved.
It's already, it's just a matter of
Just
how
the
do they get
assessment.
billed? The assessment, yeah.
Right, we have approved the stormwater retention for the going into the
I
grandstand,
thought I typed
and the
that
others
up.
going into the old house.
Okay, so I think the board's ready to make a decision here. Mark, is that right?
Yeah, let me read the petition here. So they haven't filed, nobody's filed this yet.
No, that's a copy of what
Okay.
was done.
So the plans have been approved by the city for, but the drainage board has to approve the drainage outlet.
Well, yeah,
No.
and we have approved that.
We have.
We've
Okay.
approved that detention pond
Yeah.
going into the,
We approved this.
yes, basically we did,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I think then it's just a matter of
How we handle this.
how we handle the assessment and.
Okay, so what we need, Mark, is some language on the motion that's gonna be before the board.
Mhm.
And that
I think
is,
I think it depends on what the board wants to do though. Do we want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah,
do we want to continue with prior practice, which was to assess half in the old assessment plus full of the new watershed assessment? Or do we want to go away from that strategy because of the specific circumstances here of changing of the?
I think due to the fact that you have a platted subdivision with contours on it showing that they're gonna change the surface water and any water underground to a new watershed, that we have the right to say, okay, you have done your due diligence on changing everything. It's now going into a new watershed. We can change it. Unlike a farmer who tiles, unless he gets a land leveler out there and shapes that whole ground to that other
Yeah.
watershed, he's gonna get 2 assessments.
Yeah, that was the purpose of that.
Yeah.
And this is different,
This is different.
100% of the water due to the change in the development of, due to the developmental changes. Okay, the board approves the change in the watershed assessment based upon the conclusion that all the water is gonna be going to the, what is it, the Grand Old House watershed.
Yeah.
And so I
Also,
think that's,
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I think that's your motion.
Okay, there's been a motion made. Is there a second?
Bill,
Greg Leach seconds.
Bill and Greg.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bill, help Jackie with the motion.
Yes, I will.
Oh, he will. I
Well,
can.
but, and that's, now it's just a matter of, getting the assessments changed.
Right. So for your information, I've looked at a existing tile. And we're gonna have that going to watersheds. That assessment will be relevant for another project this summer, what they wanna tile. Because they can easily drain it into the wrong system.
Okay.
And then I believe that petition will be relevant. We'll deal with that when that comes in. So I think the petition is good
Okay,
for that situation.
it's been approved. Mike, have anything else for the good of the board today?
Yes, yeah, just information, the rest of my stuff. Last year, we talked about the Saul Lugan building down in 500 South and Salem Road by the Mount Hope Church. That was, as I said, that was the worst ditch I've ever seen with, honey locust and black locust trees on it and mulberry trees. The landowner didn't take our proposal to mechanically debrush that. They had it cut. They have cleared that ditch off of all this, all the brush, and we, through the drainage board, give them, I don't know how many quarts of Tordon we're up to kill them trees. Excessive amounts, but they were big locusts. He is now ready to have that dipped, because that was kind of our agreement. He took his fences down. He was pasturing in the ditch. He's willing to fence them off, the horses out of the ditch now. So we have to reshape that ditch, get it back into where it was and go. So I'm gonna go look at that, probably this week, and with him, and start a different level on that and a redo. There will be one stream crossing we're gonna have to put in there because his horses have to get from one side to the pasture, from the barn to the pasture. So it's just information I thought it's something we had talked about.
This stream crossing, is it gonna be a farm ford? Is it gonna be a culvert?
A farm forward is what he would like,
That'd be
yeah.
Great.
That's what it is now.
Okay.
It's probably gonna cost us a little more, the drainage board. He has spent, at least
Farm ford.
3-4 weeks now,
Oh, you did.
cutting that brush
Wow.
with at least 5-man crew
It's hard work.
to get that brush. So
Yeah.
that's
Hard work,
information.
dangerous work.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I met down at the Lynn Grove Quarry with US Aggregates. They are going to be requesting rerouting the Rice open drain and I think it's Eckroad, I might be wrong on that one, a tile. Because they want to strip their property to the west of the thing. It's a real challenge there because, well, no, it's good for them because the stone in some places 2.5 feet from the surface,
Wow.
2.5 to 4 feet. They're gonna have to spend a lot of time rerouting again. This will be the third reroute of that Rice drain that I've seen. That's just information. The Jones River Bend, the subdivision on 27 up by 1100 North. I have the plans. You guys approved the stormwater detention. You wanted a riprap for the overflow and a concrete in there. Looks really good. I think they put it on there. The question is how that deals with the ongoing lawsuit, and that's out of my field. We might have to approve their development plan, I believe. But that hinges on everything that,
Yeah, and that's been delayed so many times, and a lot of it has to do with plaintiff's counsel. I don't know, I think they don't know what they're doing, and they're just not moving that case.
I have plans up in the office of this. I think they're really good. I think they did a good job.
Okay.
So it hinges on building, planning, and you guys.
Yeah.
On that journey. I guess if you say we have to bring it here again, we'll do that.
I'll have to find out where they're at. I haven't talked to the attorney on that here in a little while, so.
Okay. Yeah, and I can show you that if you want to see that when you're done today. I'll show you that.
Yep.
Because you're probably interested in
Mhm.
on every side of that. And as you know, Jackie's retiring end of April. We listed the job through Shannon, our HR lady. We had 70 some applicants
Gee,
for
70.
that.
Yeah, I made the job look so
I was gonna
easy.
say,
They
it's because
just wanted
Jackie made
it.
it look so easy.
She did, yeah.
Paying so high.
Shannon listed that as office manager because if we put, she said, as if I put surveyor deputy on there, nobody know what that meant. And so she
And
listed.
nobody want to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So she listed office manager and all the qualifications and the responsibilities are in there. And we had 3 excellent ones and this morning she is offering, going through the offer of the job.
Good.
To one of them and I think Jackie was sitting on all 3.
No, I missed the one.
Oh, you're still, okay.
Jackie's
She missed
official
one.
title now is short timer.
You're darn right.
End of April.
I'm
So-
out of here.
It looks
I'm on
good.
my
I
way
think
to
we have a
Italy.
really good candidate.
All booked.
Okay, Mike, you wanna say anything about Thursday?
Thursday, we are doing a zoning, the Farm Bureau is having a land zoning conference. And I have reserved the training room downstairs. We talked about this once and I told the plan committee, the Board of Zoning, BZA, that they're also welcome to sit in. Farm Bureau would like to know who's setting in on that. I have registered to get it started. But if anybody wants to go, we should get we should get you registered. It's free if you're a Farm Bureau member. And,
Now you can put me down.
okay, I forget what it was for a non-member. I don't know that we'll have any there. Yeah, so Doug's got the paper there.
Yeah, I'm looking here to see what it costs. It's 9 o'clock
Yeah.
and they have 3 different sessions. Join today, did you know it's $36 to join? Cost, if you're not Farm Bureau, it's $50.
Okay. So the training room is really good. It's downstairs, room 145, if I'm right on that.
125.
125. It's right at the bottom of the steps over here. It's a beautiful sound, beautiful screens, multiple screens, so. Bill and I have sat in the drainage school there multiple times already doing that. So if anybody wants to
By the
know,
way, speaking of drainage school, when is that?
I haven't gotten, they said it was upcoming on the last website I looked at, so I haven't gotten a date on that.
It's usually pretty interesting.
August.
I'm not sure. Let us know when that is, Mike.
The stormwater conference is summer. The drainage conference has always been in the fall,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
There you
fall.
go.
after Halloween, because I always have caramel corn there, so it's that next Monday.
Okay, with that being said, anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's all I
Okay,
have.
Dwayne, you got anything? Appreciate you coming in. Entertain a motion to adjourn. JP,
You're right about that.
that's all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Have a great week, guys.